Queen Esther is asked a question. The story is found in the book of Esther in chapter 7, verses 1 to 3. Sometime after the powerful king Ahasuerus had crowned Esther as his queen, he promoted another powerful man named Haman. Now, Haman did not like Mordecai, and upon hearing that Mordecai was a Jew, this man Haman plotted against all Jewish people by going to the king to say, "There are people living in the land who have their own laws and obey them rather than the king's commands. A law must be passed so they can be destroyed." Notice that Haman did not name the people as the Jews. The king took off his signet ring and gave it to Haman and said, "Do to these people what you think is best." Haman had the scribes write a law that on a certain day all Jews could be attacked and killed, and their possessions taken as plunder. When Mordecai heard of Haman's plan to kill the Jews, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and went around the city crying. Esther heard about it and sent someone to ask what was wrong. Mordecai sent word back to Esther about Haman's plan to destroy all Jews and asked Esther to go to the king to beg for mercy and plead with him to save her people. Esther responded, "Anyone who approaches the king's inner chamber without being summoned by the king is put to death, unless the king extends his golden scepter to them." Mordecai answered back, "Don't think because you live in the palace, you alone of all the Jews will escape. If you remain silent, the Jews will perish. Perhaps you had been chosen as queen for such a time as this." Esther replied, "Gather all the Jews in the city to pray and fast for me. Don't eat for 3 days. I will pray and fast with you. Then I will go to the king, even though he has not summoned me. If I die, I die." After those days, Esther went to approach the king. The king extended his golden scepter and asked, "What is thy petition? Even if it is half my kingdom, I will grant it unto thee." Esther replied, "I would like to invite the king and Haman to a special banquet I have prepared." So the king and Haman went to the banquet Esther had prepared. "What is your request?" the king asked. "I would like to invite the king and Haman to another banquet tomorrow," she answered. "Then I will answer the king's question." Haman left the palace in a good mood, but when he saw Mordecai, he was filled with rage. Haman went to his friends and his wife and boasted about his great wealth, his many sons, and the ways the king had honored him. But he added he could not be happy while Mordecai the Jew was sitting at the king's gate. That night the king could not sleep, so he ordered the records of his reign to be brought in and read to him. When the account of how Mordecai had exposed a plot to kill him was read, the king asked, "What honor was given to Mordecai for doing this?" The attendants replied, "Nothing has been done." The king then asked Haman, "What should be done for a man the king wants to honor?" Thinking that the king wanted to honor him, Haman replied, "Put the man in a royal robe the king has worn, and on a horse the king has ridden. Then get the king's most noble prince to lead the horse through the city, proclaiming, 'This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.'" The king commanded, "Do as you have suggested, for Mordecai the Jew." So Haman had to robe Mordecai, put him on a horse the king had ridden, and lead him through the city, proclaiming, "This is what is done for the man the king honors." A humiliated Haman rushed home and reported what had happened. At that moment the king's servant arrived to take Haman to the banquet Esther had prepared for him and the king. As they were dining, the king asked Esther, "What is your request? Even if it is up to half my kingdom, I will grant it unto thee." She replied, My request is that you spare my life and the lives of my people. We are about to be destroyed." "Who has dared to threaten your life?" the king demanded to know. "I am a Jew," replied Esther, "and this man Haman has made a law that on a certain day all Jews could be attacked and killed." The king was furious. He had Haman taken out and executed, and a new law was made giving the Jews the right to defend themselves. Queen Esther is asked a question.
Q. Queen Esther, ask a question. "What is thy petition, Queen Esther, Queen Esther? What is thy request? I shall grant it unto thee. Let my life be given, it's my petition, and my people speak